Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to work some more on my Vintage Life panel, village life panel that was designed and printed by Susanna from Vintage Blend Studios. So if it's something that catches your eye and you'd like to add to your project box, you can pop over to her website and pick up the panel. Now let me zoom out a little bit and let me just talk you through what I've been up to. For a little while doing this section, I've been contemplating cutting it into a series of projects. And I pretty much come to the decision that I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep working on the panel in its entirety. So I did a little bit of work around the perimeter. I've started piecing in scrap pieces of fabric to bind or decorate. It is already hemmed, so technically it's not necessary, but I really wanted to add this feature to the side of it. Now I've started top stitching just those two, and they were wriggling around so much that I decided that I would invisible stitch them all. So I've done that. Everything is invisible stitched. I love this crochet edge. It came off of a rather large table runner, and I've taken all of the motifs and I've been using them for some time, and I've just kept the edge from that piece. And here's some other ones. That's the actual piece there. So I keep all of them because you often get some really interesting shapes. Excuse me. So that is stitched on, a little bit of blue, and then these pieces down the side. So as I'm creating the villages, whenever I get a scrap now, I'll just stitch it on the side. So that's the plan with the perimeter. I think I'm going to sneeze. Hang on, guys. Okay, I'm back. Oh my goodness. You can feel it coming and you're not sure if it's going to happen, and then boom, it hits you before you know. So, sorry about that. Where was I? Yeah, so as I get scraps, I'm just going to pin them on the perimeter and slowly work my way down. Did I do anything else in here? These little pieces for the path were pinned, so I put some camphor stitch over them. Let me just zoom in so you can see the detail. So it's just denoting that there is an entry point to the fence there, and here I just did some stitching. Just a few little stitches, but pretty much here I'm going to call it finished. The only thing I haven't done is the smoke coming out of the stacks, so I'm yet to find a thread and stitch those in, but that will happen. So now we're moving to the next level. Now if I was going to cut it, let me zoom back up, if I was going to cut it into projects, which Susanna is doing in her video series, well, I presume so. I'm filming this ahead of time, and my suggestion were these were going to be a panel, this one a Christmas decoration on a Christmas tree, this one here, I hadn't really got an idea for that, and this one here was going to be a needlebook that opened out. So they were my ideas I was floating around, which I may have mentioned in previous videos, but yeah. Okay, let's have a look at these guys. So the system is some greaseproof paper or some tracing paper, as long as you can see shapes through your paper. Then I just get myself some scissors and a pencil. Keep it simple. One pencil. And start working out what we're going to put where in the way of colours. Now, I might just draw my little shapes, and I'm going to then cut them out and get myself a piece of fabric to suit. And I haven't really thought too much about what colour the little chapel is going to be, but I'm sure I'll find something. Okay, so they're the main pieces, and I'll just cut them a fraction bigger, not much. You could always trim them down, but if you want to cover the lines, it doesn't hurt to have just that little bit extra. I'm thinking the church needs to be fairly neutral so that it stands out in my village. Let me know in the comments what you're deciding to do with your panel. Are you going to divide it up or keep it as a 1 unit piece? Now I've got to keep my bits the right way up, otherwise it'll be all out of whack. Now the windows, I might just sketch them first. I'm not sure if I'll stitch them on or I'll find fabric, then stitch them on. But I'm going to just sketch them because once my fabric is on top of my image, they're gone. So at least I can have a little sketch of them and then we decide how we proceed. Now we've got an edge around. I might do 2 drawings of this. I'll do the first one, the outer edge, then I'll do the internal edge, and then we'll do the design inside the window. So we remember what we had. Now the chapel doors. So this one I'm going to do the whole piece. And we'll see how we proceed. Would be pretty cool if they were open, you know, and you could see inside. So I need to think about that if we are going to look inside, what fabric is going to be behind the doors. All right, so let's pop them aside for the moment. Now the fun bit, we get to audition some bits and pieces. So I have all my checker fabrics here. That seems to be the theme. Let me just show you those. They're just sitting to one side, and they're a combination of men's shirts and some fabric I used to use in country style quilts. I have some floral fabric here that matches all of these fabrics. I haven't really dipped into those colors yet, but then I started throwing in some random flowers from other designers, like that's a Tilda fabric. That's the main one that I'm working from, and it all started out with a little scrap, and I've since gone back and bought some yardage of it because I just seem to be using it all the time. So I thought I'd better grab some. And then when I was at the shop buying those fabrics, I picked up another 3 that I think it's because I was in the hunt for blue flowers that they had this gorgeous range of fabric there, and I picked 3 out of it. Now it's a Riley Blake, and the name of it, I always seem to get Gina Robson planted seed design. So I always seem to get lately the fabric without the name on the selvage. They need to print it more frequently along the edge so that we know what we got, don't they? So this was part of it. Maybe it wasn't. Buttercup blooms. It must have been all, this is buttercup bloom. So there you go. It was all part of the big range. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. So let's put our flowery bits to one side, and we've got our tartany bits. What are we going to do for the roof of the church? I feel like the walls need to be cream, which makes me think I should go to my neutral bucket, which is just here, and see if I can find something in here Maybe that'll set the tone. Oh, I've got so much stuff everywhere, guys. Don't need, oh, see, I like that too. I've been thinking about how else I can expand upon. Expand, do we want spots? I don't know, leave it out. There's a little bit of fabric too. How else and I can expand on, use your big words, girl. I'm getting sidetracked. Expand on the flowers, because that was very much underneath the, a bit of Hessian, underneath the, I can't even talk. I'm hunting through fabricy bits. Oh my goodness, it's hopeless, isn't it? I'll stop looking. You're just going to pull out more. Found that. Hello. All right. Put the tartans to one side, flowers to the other. This is a bit of upholstery fabric. I'm thinking that might make a nice roof. It blends. And I need it to sort of look a little bit different. I'm going to cut out the roof in this. We've made a decision. Heaven forbid. You can use a pin, and you probably should use a pin, but I'm being a naughty girl and I'm going to rough cut it. I'm sure it'll be fine. Nothing that can't be modified if needed. There we go. We have a roof. Oh, I like that. Thank you, random piece of grey fabric. Now, what's our chapel wall going to look like? We can't do blues. That's, you've never seen a blue little church. Or maybe there is a blue little church. They're all too strong. Oh, I love that. Stop. Oh, my goodness, there's bits in here. That little piece might make some great doors. So what would we put under? Maybe this little fine tartan would work. That's not a tartan, it's a check. The doors are then those mustard tones. And I really like that white stitching. Let's grab just a random crochet cotton here and just lay on there. Yeah, that'll work. I like those colours, is what I'm trying to say. So, we need, I've already been nibbling in here. Ah, I've used that fabric on top of the roof up there. Is that a problem? I don't think so. Same building material used on the church as a house. Oh gosh, am I overthinking this? For goodness sakes. It's a funny, silly. Oh, does it need to be different? No, I'm going to use it. It sort of feels like a building material type fabric. Really does. So that's it. We're going to add it in. If it doesn't look right, we can always change it. It's just fabric. I like the fact that it's got lineal lines. I really want to dress the church up, sort of make it pop with threads and lace and things like that. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. Gosh, I wish I had a paler version of, maybe I do. And the doors would be that. Let's play. It doesn't have to be the same colours, does it? I don't think so. Probably overthinking all this, but that's what you do, isn't it? I think someone asked me the other day, how do you make decisions so easily? And I think what I would say to that is you have to take the pressure off of yourself for making an error. The day you realise that it does not matter one iota the fabric choice you make on something, because it can be changed, is the day that you creatively probably take more risk. So just pick up those scissors and chop it. That would be my advice. It may not suit all of you. You may think that is horrific advice and is fraught with danger. But I tell you, that's my thoughts. That if you just go with it, you most likely, your first choice is the one that you love. You can certainly audition. That's part of the fun of it. But trust your instinct. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that will go there. Looks like a pilgrim's church. There we go. That will work. And then we can do something with the doors, something with the windows. It's reasonably neutral, and I can still trim it, stitch it, whatever comes of it. Okay, now, don't need that. Now I bring out my art glitter glue as I place down these elements. I might, instead of going onto the fabric, something different, I'll go onto the piece in behind. Might be a little easier, because I know I need that in the right position. If your design is a little bit bigger than Susanna's panel, it's not a problem. Not a problem. This will just tack it down until I can come through with my stitching. And it helps with fraying too. You can use fray check, but that's a bit hard to come by in this country, so I sort of gave up looking for it. And when I did find the odd bottle, it didn't seem to last long, so I was like, oh, it must be something else. And I had this product on my desk anyway. Art glitter glue from doing journals, journal making, because it glues really quickly. So when you're doing journal making, it's an absolute pleasure to work with, because everything quickly adheres, so it just doesn't slow you down. And that is also handy with fabric. There are quilters glues out there that they use for basting. That side's a little bit crooked. Yeah, they use for basting fabrics as well to hold them. Is that glued? That is glued. Doesn't matter. I'm not gonna try and pull it off, because I'll just end up warping edges of fabric and it'll look a bit on the bodgy side. Now I might just turn my iron on, because I want to iron this little piece. Did I put glue down there? No. You only need the tiniest amount. It really is just to hold it, because I then go and sit on the couch with it squished up on my lap, and it helps hold it. You can use needle and thread and invisible stitch by all means. Turn my iron on. Feels like forever since I picked up this piece. So it's good. It's back on the project. Just love the colours. And the colours have been put together and been sitting on my desk for some time, and I keep dipping into them for other projects. So there'll be things here you're like, oh, I've seen that. Where is the pin gone now for the glue? Are you serious? There it is. You probably saw it sitting there. Okay. So it just holds it. See, it might not have put enough on there. There we go. If I stop fiddling with it, probably hold it better. Okay, let's iron that. So as before, I will just highlight stitch like I did with the houses, but I think we could do a little bit more with fabric yet. So where's our bits and bobs? Let's just trim those out and see what we do. Let's have a look at these doors. So we could break it down to a couple components. A background, an internal, and then actual doors. So how do we want to do this? Just trimming them out to have a think while I cut. I think I'm going to do a background first and then build up from there. And as for internals, are we going to have them open or not? I think I need a dark fabric, like a brown. I'm just ratting around in the container beside me on the table and see if there's anything that pops out. Just that little brown edge. There's a green that might get me out of trouble. I just want that pop of colour in the background. So I'm thinking I'm going to cut him out of that. Is that up the right way, or have I twisted it? Yep, that's up the right way. It's already cut a fraction bigger anyway, which will be good. This is only a little bit going to pop as soon as I start filming. It's that time of the morning. I've established that it's a high risk bandit wolf time, pepper wolf time. So I'm going to have this little green edge peeking out from behind the doors. I think it'll just add a little layer, a little detail. And I think if the doors are open, oh, there's a little flower on it. Oh, couldn't have worked that out any better. Now I'm going to cut the doors down a fraction under in size. So when I cut this next piece out, I'm hoping it is a fraction smaller. And we'll get that edge. Yes, that will work. So let's cut this little guy out next. Oh, you can fiddle with this type of work for hours. Oh my goodness. I was hoping in this video I'd lay out the two houses, but it just depends on how quickly things come together, doesn't it? And that will go there. Now we potentially can do the window. Or do we use that as the window? Let's get my friction pen, a black friction pen, heat erasable, and draw ruler. Let's start getting some lines in of how we're going to stitch this. We could shrink the door down with our stitching. Instead of adding more fabric, we redo our arch. Okay. Then we stitch that down. And that down is one option. Now we've got the opportunity, I might double stitch that. Just feels a little bit delicate. We need it to be a little bit chunky. I'll fiddle with it more as I lay my thread down in the right spots, like it's just a guide at the moment. Do we stitch in the door or do we have a hinging door? If we have a hinging door, we need a fabric that's not going to disintegrate quickly, easily, which brings me back to that grey fabric because it's got like a backing on it. I don't mind the idea of the doors being the grey. Sort of brings it all together. And remember, this is not realistic, this is artistic, so we can do whatever we want. So if they were there inside the stitching and I trim that down like so, could go down again. All right. It's got to come right down there, those doors to be mounted correctly down onto the footpath. So my arch at the top could be bigger. I'm thinking I might find a piece of lace for in there actually to find a curved shape. So and I'm just sort of looking over my table. This is too big and bulky, but I'd be looking for a shape like that just to give it a bit of detail. But here, what's this? I just don't know about those doors. I think I'm fixated on the fact that I want a fabric that doesn't fray, would be my first preference. So if I cut, what if that's inside, the dark inside the room, and then the doors sit on that, but it's that, no. What about this fabric? Look how much it frays. spotty doors. That looks odd. I really liked that fabric when I picked it up. Could we have floral doors? Oh gosh, that's not really what you would see on a church. You imagine like pieces of timber, don't you? I need a stripe that's not too thick. What about a piece of this? I feel like it's matchy-matchy. I feel like I want to make the doors a feature. And even if they're not technically what you would see on a church, I'm okay with that. Maybe we could use some lace. No, too soft. Oh gosh, who would have thought the church doors? That edge is annoying me too. Maybe I'll just stitch them. I really wanted the doors open, but something will present itself. I might just get this guy secured and the cream, because they're definites. They are going to happen. I'll do it a little bit off center. There we go. This will be a definite. And there is some shrubbery and a tree there as well, but I think I can make that blend in. It probably technically should have been under the roof, so it's behind. But I'm okay with that because it could be just clusters of flowers in the end, not actually those trees. So I think we can come up with something. Now, what else could we use for our door? Maybe, I've got some, oh, this might work. It might even, yeah, where's that little template? Because this is closer to the size now. This is just a piece of, if I go any smaller, I'm chopping into a beautiful piece of linen here. See, it pays to look. Maybe that'll work. Just come close. We'll give it a go. I think it's been a bit too skingy. But if the doors are apart, no, see, it's not going to work. Oh my goodness me. The things you do. Oh, here we go. Tinier, smaller piece. I'm sure if I hunted for half an hour, I'd find a better piece of fabric. As in, I really love this fabric, but size-wise, scrap-wise, smaller scrap is what I'm trying to say. I think this will work because what I'll do is I will top stitch the doors as well. So that's them there. Now, can we cut it in half by eye? So if that door goes there, that door goes there, they're as crooked as hang. I think it'll be okay. Now I'm going to glue the back so we don't get that fraying. And I'll top stitch it with the little details you need to tell you it's a door. Does that make sense? Okay. So that'll just support it a little bit. So using the white thread, I will stitch detail in around. So I'll probably do some form of stitching around the door frame itself, like so, just to give you a bit of an idea. It might change when I actually do it, but I'll just talk through some of the ideas I've got. Then I'll bring that thread in here and do it again. I'll decide at that point whether I add some lace into the top here or I just do some stitching and it's just timber up there. I think it needs to be lace, and I think I'm going to go hunting for it right now. So my little doors, where's my tray? My little doors are drying. They're going to be fiddly, but I'm going to stitch, top stitch onto them. Oh, don't glue down. Some little details like the hinges and the door handle, and they will be stitched down probably with invisible stitch so it holds them, but yeah, it holds them into position, but you can, you know, slide your finger in there. Okay, now the lace, I'm sort of wanting something curved that can go across the top. Like it looks like there's a panel of, I've got a little pile of lacy bits here, scrappy bits. Let's just bring this into play now. So we're sort of looking for a natural curve like this. It's just not big enough. Gosh, that would have been perfect. So we need a wider scallop. Oh, I love that. Some guttering on the little church. That could work. This is the best bit, embellishing. Oh, gosh. I even like that curve. My goodness me. I think that's a definite. Maybe that's enough lace. I don't know. I could also turn the lace up. No. I like it down. And that, it's a real chapel now. That will work quite well with the scallops too. They end just in the right spot. So that's what's going on the sides. That one there can be cut. That one there will go up to the point. That can be cut. It's like icing a cake, isn't it? Those gingerbread cakes. And that down there. If that stitches in to there, I can then probably lay that on top so that'll look like it meets okay. Oh, I like it. It suits the piece beautifully. So I'm just going to pin that up there. Pin that over there. And that over there. So we know that they're roughly where they should be. Now we haven't found anything for that window. Oh, hang on, look at this. If I invert that curve, oh yeah, here we go. This'll do it. Even if I've got to adjust, my door to suit, I'm okay with that. I think we can pull it off with that. That's what we needed, just that little element. And then if I can splay that out a little bit, that'll look like a piece of glass inserted over the door frame with a bit of a curve on the top, and I get the baseline straight. I think that's got potential. So we'll just pin that little element up here. Now, the windows. Now we've got our doors sorted, I believe. So let's have a look at the windows. I think this top bit up here will be stitched in. Or will it? I don't know. Let's cut out. Gosh, I've got a mess. How quickly it descends into chaos. I think I need to push back those checks. If I don't put a piece of fabric there, I think you'll be fighting against the building. So I might just use this piece of calico just to subdue the checks, and then stitch. So you just rough cut, guys. Don't be too precious about it. Just need that shape. I keep it a bit more pointy. Feels a bit more church-like when there's a point to windows, I think. That's good, the point. And then we'll take that off. Yep, that's good. That just pushes the background back, and the only thing we need to check is the edging. Oh, that'll work. Just. And then we will stitch the detail of the stained glass window. Okay, there's the base for our window. Okay, that's dealt with. Now we have side windows here. I'm wondering if we stay on the same premise of using the calico. Grab another piece. That's not needed. That's not needed. So where are our windows? We've got 3 of them. Oh yeah, I think we need to. My thought was, are we getting too fabricy? Is that technical speech? Are we getting too, oops, too layered? But I think we need to. It's such a strong check there. So I think I will make them pale. Probably should be darker because you're looking into a window. Technically, it would be darker. But as we said, it doesn't have to be realistic. It's all about coordinating your colours and then stitching your details so that when someone looks at it, they can immediately go, oh yeah, that's a little church. I wonder if I've got a little cross charm for the top of the church. I don't think I would. That's small. It'd have to be tiny, wouldn't it? tiny. I'd spend probably half a day looking for it and still not find anything suitable. Okay, that's that one. They probably need to be more narrow, don't they? I'm not going to fit them. I'm freestyling now. I'm going off the design. When you trace things with your pencil and that, you are going to alter it a lot because it just naturally will grow bigger. Yeah, I think I need more of a slithered window. I might just freestyle from here and cut the remaining out. Technically, they should probably get a fraction smaller as they go along the side of that building. But hey, we're not going to be architecturally correct. If you want to be, good luck to you. By the time I stitch it all, I don't think anyone will notice that my architectural angles are all to whack. There's another one. And another one. A little bit chunky at the bottom of that, so that needs trimming somewhat. I sort of wanted my little church to be cute and pretty, but I also wanted it to be simple and, look, dowdy is the wrong word, but subdued. Like, you know, when you look at those very early little churches that they built when they settled towns, unless they had a big budget, they were little simple timber structures. This is no cathedral where we could play with, you know, the sandstone brick look. This is just a little, sort of like the little church that was in my town when I grew up. We had numerous little churches, mind you. Every denomination had a little church, but they were all timber. Ours was painted brown with a tin roof, but others were white little chapels. Okay, I think we're there. So with my friction pen, we just need to draw in any lines that we're going to stitch as well on these little windows. They get real fat at the bottom. It must be my fingers in the way. There we go. Love them. Beautiful. Just breaks it up, doesn't it? And we've still got a bit of a feature of the door. It's a similar tone. Okay, so let's get some tacking glue down. So when I go to stitch this, I would do the windows, the doors first, because that's holding the whole thing down. So that would be the first spot I would go. The other thing I could look at doing is some brickwork or some tiles on the roof. There's another decorative thing we could do. Whether it needs it or not, it's all decisions you make as you go, isn't it? You sort of go look at your piece and go, well, there's heaps of little stitched villages, houses on Pinterest. Even if you type in gingerbread houses and have a look at how they layer the icing and the lollies and the things on their little houses, often that can give you little ideas for stitching. Here we go. One little church. So I would, where's my pen? I would say I'm going to stitch the internal edge of my little windows. Use a very fine thread because we're getting very small here. Won't be a chunky. And then I'm thinking maybe a blue thread to show the division in the glass, the stained glass windows. So through here, maybe one thread. I'll do a little high one. I should be looking at Susanna's design. I've probably gone off the trail here a bit, but it'll be similar. It might be the same, I don't know. It's long gone under the fabric now. We're on our own. So we've got 3 even panes. One's a little bit out. That's all right. Okay, and then this guy, what was the design up there? I think there was a cross in there, wasn't there? Oh, Susanna gave me 2 of these panels. Hang on, let's grab it. I forgot I had that. Lucky me. You guys might want to take a photo of your piece so you don't lose design elements. Oh, I got the windows pretty good. She's got more dividing pieces. She's got more lines, I think. Yeah, there's a little one at the bottom, which is, I nearly lost the lace, which is not a bad idea. It helps make it less childlike. I'll put an extra stitch line there. So it could be like a sill. Yeah, I like that. It's a little bit closer than what Susanna did, but it's pretty good. Now the one above the door, we need a line around the actual fabric. I want quite a peak. Excuse me, guys. Then we've got the actual inserted glass. We'll sit it right down on that edge. Then we'll come up a little bit closer in. There we go. We've got our peak. I like the little cross that she's done in the top of the window. That's very clever. I like that design element. Then she's gone from underneath across all the way down with a line, and then we've got this zigzag effect, which is really cute. That really denotes that it's a church, I believe. Okay, there we go. So there's our little stained glass window. And I can see that all being stitched in a blue, like a navy blue, or even this grey. I'll have a play with that, but I'm thinking it'll be one or the other. Okay, so our doors will work. Oh, we've got the word chapel. I don't have that because we got lace. I think we know it's a chapel, don't we? Yeah. I'm going to forego the word chapel. I could probably do a sign somewhere. Maybe we could do, you know, where they have a sign out the front and you have the service when it's going to be. Maybe that's something I keep in mind for this space down here. We could have a little signpost so that as people are heading up to the chapel, we need a bit of a path up to the chapel. And then maybe there's a bit of a sign. I don't know. I'll have a think about it. We'll just draw it. A bit of a notice board. Who knows? Who knows? That's the next adventure. Okay, I think I've got my little chapel sorted. I'll pause the video. I'll toddle off and stitch this. Yeah, I'll stitch it and then I'll come back with that progress. The only other thing that I probably could do is have a think about this foliage, but I think I'm going to leave it because I have a feeling that I will bring more of the floral element into it. Like, have I got any of them left from when I was cutting them out? Probably not. Like, just cluster in around it randomly. I've really got to think about what I'm going to do in the background on this piece. Maybe there'll be just random flowers wafting through it all. I sort of have that feeling. And then fabric-y bits so that it's not so much a logical path. It's more, I don't know how to describe it. Anyway, I think you know what I mean. I can't put my words together. I want to bring some doily motifs into it too, so maybe that'll help build up the background so it just becomes little vignette, that's the word, little vignettes of imagery in amongst lots of floral. Yeah, okay. All right, guys. Thanks for that. I will toddle off and do a bit of stitching. All right, see you in a moment. Hello, everyone. I'm back. I have finished stitching the little chapel. I do need to apply some glue to this edge because I ended up trimming it back just a smidgen and I probably lost the edge that I'd glued. So I thought I'd better do that. And I need to touch it with the iron just to get rid of all of my sketch lines. Not that there's many, but there are a few in there. Just tidy it up a little bit. It always looks so much better once you get rid of those lines. Sort of sharpens everything, doesn't it? So that is the little chapel finished. Now I did have a piece of lace for inside that little arch at the top of the door, and I didn't end up using it. I just couldn't make it fit. So it's not there at the moment. Whether I come across something down the track, I've had a bit of a rummage through my bits and pieces, but I just haven't found something that's small enough to slide in there. I end up doing 2 strands of the crochet cotton. It's a really thick, nearly a 4-ply crochet cotton. So I did 2 strands up the side, 2 strands across the top of the door, and then 1 strand there. The crochet cotton at the back near the green is cream, and that is white. So there's a play on the 2 colours there, the white lace, the cream cotton, the cream, the white. Then I started working a blue into it, and then a shiny pale blue for the glass, like where the iron lead would have been to hold the panels of glass in. So there's like this little bit of a shimmer. Probably doesn't show up as good for you guys. So yeah, a little bit of a play on colour there, but that's, yeah, really good. I'll put plants and things and we'll build the garden, but at the moment I just, like I did on the first panel, I got all my structures done. So they are completed, and then I think about the landscape. So that's what I'm going to do for this as well. So my next house will be the manor house. So that's what I'll film in the next video. That piece there I've just pinned into position. I think it's going to be part of my border treatment. That there. Whoops, I can't even see it. There it is. And I know I've got more of that, so I probably need to hunt it out and I might be able to work it in elsewhere as well, just to balance my piece, to have a little bit here and maybe a little bit on that opposite corner somewhere, or down the bottom. Yeah, so that's where we're at. The chapel I'm calling finished. I still haven't addressed the sign or the path yet, part of the landscaping. So yeah, all right guys, thanks for joining me. The next video will be working out the fabrics for this and the stitching and yeah, what we plan to do. All right guys, I will catch you in the next video. Bye.